Wayfinding at the cinema. Now, before I get into the theoretical ways in which a movie theater could more safely be reopened and navigated during our current pandemic reality, let me discuss the key components of the theater's existing wayfinding system. And afterwards, I'll get into what it is that's informing that system. The key components of the current design were of course decided upon before we entered into a global health crisis, and thus have very different end goals in mind than what we'd expect to see now. Some of the existing system's major choices were made with the following points considered as high priority: to inform customers, to communicate clearly both with words and visuals, to increase concession sales, ticket sales, and ticket upgrades, as well as to increase revenue from interactive spaces like arcades or bookable party rooms, to manage and direct the flow of traffic and to prevent people without a ticket from gaining entry, to allow for convenient and comfortable movement within the space, to be able to fit as many people or seats into the theater as possible in order to maximize profit, to evoke excitement, anticipation, comfort, and relaxation, to push either a certain theme or to make the space feel futuristic, interesting, or stand out from other types of recreational spaces in some way. This allows patrons to enjoy a sense of escapism, either through an appeal to fantasy or to nostalgia. Many of the points informing the current system are still applicable, desirable, and are definitely compatible with a new wayfinding system more suited to the current conditions. Some points, however, will have to be crossed off the list, and still others need to be added. The design of the new wayfinding system will take public health and safety into heavy consideration. Emphasis will be placed on physical distancing, inclusivity and accessibility, sanitization, cleanliness, organization, clarity, and increased integration of personal technology into the physical navigation experience. To balance all of this out, though, and to refrain from negating the initial reason people decided to come to the theater in the first place, that is, to have a distraction from the stresses of the everyday, information will have to be conveyed in a way that's fun, interesting, that adheres to a certain theme or personality, and engages audience members of all ages. A sense of relief or escapism from the everyday needs to be crafted, while also adhering closely to choices and focus points that maximize the safety and health of all. These focus points are informed by research and customer experience mapping. I mapped out the journey, identified the problem points, and then worked on brainstorming some solutions to those issues, informed again by the research. Let me quickly run through the main problem areas. Firstly, I've split the experience map into three main branches. The first deals with the customer's actions, the second deals with their emotions as they respond to those actions, and the third lists the touch points encountered along the way. The thought process that sparks the rest of the actions that are taken, and the initial journey map experience altogether, is that people want to get out of their homes, or just to be distracted for a little bit. This prompts the customer to refer to the Cineplex app, to the website, or even to call in to find out which movies are playing, pick the one that they're most interested in, and find out the movie theater showtimes. At this point, the customer may be curious or wondering when the theater's most empty. They'd also have to think about if they'd rather pay for their ticket online or in person. They might consider things like which option confuses them the least or is most convenient, and might be concerned about having to have close contact with another person if they do choose to pay in person. If they chose to buy their tickets online, their next action will be to select their seats. They might be wondering about where other people are sitting and how to select seats that are at a safe distance away from that of the other parties. If they chose to purchase their tickets in person, they could have a bit more anxiety or maybe more focused on things like sanitization and making sure that they have enough space around them in line. They could also be wondering if there are touchless payment options available. After purchasing their tickets online, the customer can then drive to the theater. Those who purchase their tickets in person may be looking for hand sanitizer or for a place to wash their hands after paying at this point. Both the customers who paid online and those who paid in person will now have to present their tickets to get past the entrance. One possible concern could be not wanting to pass the tickets to the other person, and then have the stubs handed back to them. The next destination will be to line up at the concessions for food and drinks, where there could be a concern over cleanliness or food preparation practices. While holding their orders, they'll then have to navigate to find signage and look for the direction to the theater that their movie is playing in. People want clarity without the need to consult, interact closely with another person, or put their food down to look for the right way to go. Once they find their theater, they'll need to navigate to their seat. which could pose a problem for those with mobility issues or visual impairments. On top of that, there must be a way to navigate that doesn't force people to infringe on their own or other people's personal space. A critique that I have regarding the existing wayfinding system is that it doesn't pay any mind to alleviating the customer's anxiety or possible confusion, and it's largely unconcerned with inclusivity and ease of access. Some of the insights that I had regarding some possible future wayfinding opportunities are as follows. Firstly, the greater integration of personal technology into the physical navigation of the space. Is there a way that the customer could tell through the app which areas are most likely to be heavily booked? Is there a way to see where people have already booked so that we can book our seats away from them? The elimination of physical tickets whenever possible would also be incredibly useful. Even when tickets are purchased in person at the counter, digital tickets can be texted directly to the customer's phone number and can then be scanned without having to touch their phone at all. Another useful feature that could be added to this highly integrative of technology navigation system is a way to understand the information and tracking in regards to the volume of traffic at the theater during specific times. Information on the safest show times or expected volume of customers could be accessed so people can make a decision on when to book whenever they feel safest. Another useful tool that the app could employ is the ability to customize and order food online through the app and to pick it up with as little contact as possible. In terms of some more physical implementations, the installation of more hand sanitizer stations and more hand washing stations that don't require entering the bathrooms would prove to be a very convenient way to encourage people to wash their hands. For those that have to go into the bathrooms, the addition of contactless flushing, soap dispensing, faucets, and paper towel dispensers would be a great way to minimize contact. Inside the theater auditorium specifically, the addition of a lift or ramp system on the near side, closest to the entrance, would be great in order to allow people to easily access their seats, especially for people with mobility or visual impairments. On the same line of thinking, large or bright signs that indicate the direction to the correct theater row and seat could be implemented, as could colored lights indicating which seats are taken in the theater so you can choose a path that you're most comfortable with to get to your seats. This is also helpful for those who have vision impairments who might not be able to see very well in dim lighting. The implementation of a contact-free ticket counter with shields and speakers for ease of communication, and N95 masks could be handed out the door or made readily available to those who ask for them. Aside from these points, however, there must also be the incorporation of a unique design voice or brand personality. Creativity will allow for COVID-19 related information and safety reminders to be conveyed in a way that does not spike anxiety, increase fear, or make the pandemic circumstances the main focus of customer attention. When someone goes to the theater, they want escapism and a break from the everyday. Our current circumstances can't be avoided, but they should not be a distraction from what the purpose of going to the theater is: to have a fun night out. The design choices implemented should be humorous, fun and engaging, and suitable for all ages. Reminders don't have to be dull and clinical, but could be delivered through a certain personality or brand voice, perhaps using a theme, humor, or interesting visual to convey the message. Signs, physical distance markers, and directional information could also all be themed, perhaps like an old vintage theater, like outer space, or another unique theme that could make the outing feel a bit more like a mini vacation. A balancing of fun character and important health information is crucial. One cannot negate the other, as both are incredibly important for our physical and mental health. Fun can't overpower safety, but safety can't overpower fun either. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Stay safe, everyone.